Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I just wrapped up my decks that I'm on the fence about video, and now I'm back to record the decks that are no longer going to be a part of my collection as of 2025. So as I mentioned in the other video that I just created, the new calendar year has me thinking a lot about my deck collection and where I want to go with it. So this year I really want to be very mindful about the decks that I bring into the collection. I'm focusing on the decks that I've wanted for a long time. I've already pulled the trigger on Tierra May. I mentioned recently, I think in my 2024 favorite decks wrap-up video, I mentioned that I wanted to purchase her tarot deck. So it is currently, I believe she's waiting for a reprint, but I did pick up her Cave of Sybil Oracle deck. It looks really dark feminine focused, shadow work focused, dark, and those are all the things that I'm all about those things. I am a follower of the dark feminine. I work with only dark faces of deity, so it speaks to me, and I do plan on picking up the tarot deck eventually once it comes back in stock. So that is something that I treated myself to. My birthday is actually coming up in March, so it is going to be a birthday gift. So, and these are decks that I've wanted for a long time, and she's been on my radar for a long time. I just wasn't sure if it was time, but this year, like I said, I'm really planning on focusing on the things that I've wanted for a long time. Everything else can wait. So let's get straight into the actual meat and potatoes of the video. So these are some of the decks that I've had for such a long time. I think with the exception of one. So I'm going to start with the Field Tarot. So I purchased this as part of a subscription box. I think this came in a subscription box. I can't remember what it was called, but I think you got, this is a very long time ago, you got a crystal and then a tarot and an oracle deck. Where you got a couple of different crystals. I'm not a big crystal person. I do have, I have a lot for like my opinion, because I'm not that interested in crystals. It's just not a huge part of my practice. I have more than I really need, to be honest. I've acquired a few over the years, or I should say I've acquired quite a lot over the years. I've been gifted, as well as I've just acquired to work with specific energies, in specific workings. I've acquired certain crystals, but I'm not a huge crystal person. But this deck came in a subscription box that was crystal and tarot and oracle focused. So, and at the time I was interested in growing my crystal collection. It's not really the route that I've continued in, but I did desubscribe, I think, during a very difficult period in my life, and I've never gone back. So this came in the subscription box. This is called the Field Tarot, and it's a very element of air. I would align this deck with the star sign or the sun sign of Aquarius. It's just a very strong element of air deck. It's very sterile in its kind of its energy, but especially its color palette. It's a very muted, very gray toned. I just don't gravitate towards this deck at all. I don't really like the artwork. And I didn't purchase this deck myself. I haven't worked with this deck in a very long time. As you can see, it has keywords at the bottom of the deck. I actually kind of find these decks irritating. I work with my decks intuitively, so I just find like the keywords to be clutter. I do think that this is an excellent deck for maybe somebody who's learning tarot, and the imagery, like I said, it's quite toned down, it's muted, you don't have like these bright, vivid colors, there's not a lot happening in the artwork, so I think that it's great for a beginner because there's not all this clutter that you're looking at. So it's great for beginners, in my opinion. But this deck just, it doesn't speak to me anymore. There was a period in my life where I did like this deck. I enjoyed working with this deck. But not anymore. So unfortunately in 2025, this deck is retired. It needs to go to a home that will appreciate it and love it. So this is a deck that is no longer going to be in my collection in 2025. So next up, I have the Oracle of Fairies. So this deck I purchased very early on in my journey. I think it was actually just relaunched, maybe in a mini size. I can't really remember, but you guys know I'm not really interested in working with Fae energy. They actually kind of scare me, funny enough, because I am half Celtic. My mom's Scottish, but I don't feel called to working with the Fae at all. I do have to admit, this is a great general purpose deck, and it's great to have general purpose decks in your collection. Beautiful vivid colors. The artwork's nice. It's just like, it's like a digital artwork deck. It's really pretty. But I have not worked with this deck in so long.
Hold on. Wait.
I have a very close friend of mine. She's also a family member who's learning tarot. And this is a deck that I'm planning on gifting to her. And I think that she'll actually use the deck. I think she'll find it really pretty, so I'm holding on to it for her. Okay, if you guys watched the last video, the decks that I'm on the fence about, you probably saw me in live action realizing that this deck has to go, that it doesn't have a future in my collection anymore. So this is the Light Seers Tarot. Like I mentioned in that video, it's a deck that I once felt really connected to. I do think that this deck is excellent for beginners, but I just have not felt called to working with this deck at all. It was once a very loved, very used deck in my collection, but it's been years since I've picked it up, to be honest. I don't even think I've shown it on the channel. That's how long it's been. So this, unfortunately, is a deck that doesn't have a future in my collection in 2025. This is another old one. I don't think I've showed it on the channel at all either. So this is the Whispers of Healing Oracle deck. So when I first really started getting into tarot and oracle, I acquired a lot of these healing decks, like decks that were really focused on healing, trauma, and this, unfortunately, this is one of them. I just don't feel called to working with this deck anymore. Artwork is beautiful. Why is it upside down? Artwork is beautiful. It's just, it doesn't speak to me anymore. I don't really like this business. I don't like that some of the cards are like landscape, some of them are like vertical. So I don't like the vertical and horizontal thing. Like I'd rather you pick one and just stick with one throughout the whole deck, but that's just my personal opinion. But I have not worked with this deck in a very, very long time. It's been very many years at this point. And I have other decks in my collection that I'd rather go to if I'm in a space where I really want to work on my healing, or my inner child. Like, this is just not a deck that I would go to anymore. So unfortunately, this is one that is not making the cut. It has to go, it needs to go to a loving home that would actually appreciate it. So I have two more decks. Next up is the Precious Gems Oracle. So this, I think, was sent to me in a subscription box like the Field Tarot. I'm pretty sure it was the same subscription box. Like I said, I don't really view myself as a crystal witch. Last but not least, I have the Practical Magic Oracle. I actually purchased this recently, but I haven't felt called to really working with it. I purchased this used, and I really purchased it for the guidebook. It's incredible. It's a really good, thorough guidebook. I purchased it because of all the wolf imagery. You guys know I've been working with Artemis, and wolf energy is something that really came forward alongside Artemis and working with the wild woman archetype. So I've talked a little bit on the channel about that, the work that I've been doing with respects to that. And this is one of the decks that I felt really called to working with alongside this energy. At least that's what I thought. However, I don't really feel drawn or called to working with this deck. The imagery is really beautiful, but I think that this deck, it's not meant for me. I actually think that I acquired it for that friend that I mentioned earlier. I think that this is a deck that I've actually acquired for her. I just feel that it would be such a perfect companion for her. So I think that this is going to be a deck that I gift to her. And I can always pick it up again if I feel called to in the future. But I don't think that it's for me. I think that I did pick it up maybe for her to work with. Interestingly enough, how that worked out. But it is a really beautiful deck, but I just don't think that it's meant for me, at least right now in my practice. I have so many other wonderful decks that speak to me, and this one, it just doesn't feel like it's for me. Let me know in the comment section below if you've acquired a deck that you think is actually for somebody in your life. I'm really curious to know. Anyway, that's it for this deck list video. Hey guys, sorry, I actually forgot one deck. So this one is called the Enchanted Dreams, the Tarot of Enchanted Dreams. So I purchased this quite some time ago, and again, this is just not one that I feel gravitated to. Funny enough, I'm a Pisces, and you know, we're supposed to be the dreamy, sensitive sign, and I don't gravitate towards these kind of dreamy, fantastical, just dreamy, fantasy, otherworldly kind of decks. Ethereal. And this one, like I said, I just don't gravitate towards it. It has a lot of the blues, the greens, the teals, the turquoise. It is a very Pisces deck in my opinion, but I just don't feel called to working with it at all. I don't think I've worked with this deck in a very long time. It's been years at this point, similarly to the Field Tarot and the Light Seers Tarot. So again, this is just another one that will not be staying in my collection. And again, this is the Tarot of Enchanted Dreams. Oh, and let me know in the comment section below, or you feel free to email me. I always link that in the description box below. I have my Instagram handle as well as my Gmail that I list in the description box below. Let me know if you want any of these decks, if any of them call to you, if you want to make a trade, or if you want to purchase them. I don't think that I'll ask for very much money at this point. Some of these decks are quite old, to be honest. So they all are in great condition, as you saw. I'm not really concerned about their wearability. That's not why I'm getting rid of them. I just don't feel like they speak to me anymore. So let me know if you want any of these decks apart from the two that I mentioned that I'm going to be gifting to a friend. But anyway, yeah, that's the end of today's video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.